Good evening, everybody. Just off parent here. It's been a long time since I've been on. I think a couple months. I'm just kind of dusting out the cobwebs and figuring out, trying to reintroduce myself to how to do streaming again. But I'm catching wind. This is going to be 99.9%. This is going to be Texas, and they're using some crap I come up with because I kind of don't care. But tonight, I got wind of some information. I knew it was coming because actually the last session for Texas, I reported the hell out of it, and of course nobody cared. I made a bunch of funny videos about it, but just wanted to kind of get information out there that every guy needs to know about, and the girls too, because they're going to make some bank here. But the guys down the Capitol or whatever are starting to crap up again with retroactive child support. And if you don't know what retroactive child support is, you probably will soon. But retroactive child support is basically when a woman gets pregnant, the man gets put on retroactive child support. It's not a clever name. These guys aren't that smart. And what the judge does in your child support order is he basically goes back to the moment of conception and charges you child support, usually in accrued amount, all the way up until birth of the baby, when the normal child support order takes over and all that fun stuff. Where it is a concern, because again, before there's any misunderstandings or confusion or pissed off parents, I hate women, parent, whatever. If you create a child, you should be responsible for the child. That includes the financial support. We can get into the whole, the fact that fathers don't get equal custody across the country, across the world, actually, we'll push that off to another conversation. I beat it to death. Everybody else beat it to death. It's gotten boring and silly even talking about it at this point. But this is just more of a warning to everyone out there about what's going to be happening with child support for Texas. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to pass. Last session, it did not pass because actually a Democrat, and I have the video. I made a video about it because it was actually pretty funny. It actually is kind of what brought me kind of out of the cloud to do it again, because I was so pissed off that out of the 29 million Texans, not a one of you gave a crap. And I was like, you know what? Y'all deserve what you get. But a Democrat came along and actually killed the bill, pissed off Jeff Leach, which was awesome. And he's back again, by the way, reintroducing this, and he's going to make sure that it goes through this time. It should have went through last time, but there was a ditch Hail Mary thing that didn't. But we're going to walk through not only the bill is going to be heard on this Wednesday in 2 days. It'll be heard, and we're going to read through the bill. I scanned it just high level, just so clear the cobwebs out, and we can talk about it and what it means to you. And again, you can give two shits less. I personally don't care, but when baby mama and the courts come to shackle you and charge your child support, you can whine and bitch and moan and groan, but you had your shot now to do something about it, and you chose not to because of whatever. But we're gonna go through the bill, we're gonna talk about it, and kind of go from there. Let me go ahead and switch screens so you can see what's up here. I went ahead and again, you can just go to capital.texas.gov and do a search. I typed in the word retroactive. Ooh, big stuff here. Oh, and actually my Xboxy Windows whatever thing popped up. It's not always big when you're going live. It has to do something. But I typed in, quick little the word retroactive because again it's sexy and cool. And up popped a number of bills. We'll count them with the word retroactive in it, and you can see. And again, last session we did five. I say we. They did 5 bills, 5 of them. To try to get retroactive child support put through. And before we dive into it, to try to get states like Indiana has already done it, and it's been horrible. And they've tried to even get more money out of it. And even lawyers there are trying to fight back against it because they thought it was awesome because they'd make more money, and they've just kind of realized just how bad it is across the board and how money hungry the state is. And that's Indiana. think about Texas. And I wouldn't talk too much more about it, but I did an entire show a couple years ago on Indiana and trying to warn everyone in the state of Texas, and no one gave a shit. So here we are. I'm doing it again, just so I can come back and do the "I told you so" to everyone whining about it. But and I'll try to maybe put in some stuff here about what you can try to do about it. But it's going to take a lot more people than one to do something. I think there was actually, I think, 7 people in the last go around that actually submitted documentation to it, and one of them was me. There was actually 3 people for it and a couple people against it. But again, out of 29 million, there was one of those things. But anyway, all right. So we've got a number of bills, and I'll just kind of quickly scan because I really haven't. It's like I know the answer, but I want to be kind of factual in what I'm presenting here. But it's like I know the we have let's see a number of bills, and let's make sure. Well, we'll get a tally of how many we got. So we got HB 1980 relating to the court order of past due retroactive child support. And again, we're going to dive into one of the bills, the one that's going to be heard on Wednesday, so you can see for yourself how it's going to just totally screw most all guys. But anyway, we got one here, Hicklin, no shocker. Hughes, that idiot, yeah, he's introduced one the last session, so he's had a chance to refine it. So we got 2, and then we've got good old Leach. Jeff is back. So we got here about retroactive child support. So we got 3.
Leach. Jeff is
back.
So we got here
pay retroactive child support by Goulian, whatever the hell his name is. So we got 4. And
child support by Goulian.
I like this one. This is a good retroactive one. It looks like sexual abuse. There's no, I'm sure, waiting on or whatever. So we're good there. See tax. Yeah. Okay. So we got 2 bills. Actually, those 2 are good. Again, I just tied it in. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The last go round was actually Dutton, who actually was the one that killed for everybody the retroactive child support.
Who actually was the one that
in ways you should thank him, but there's a lot of other stuff here. Anyway, so we have here relating to the accrual of interest on overdue child support. Ooh, that's going to come in handy. That's probably something people should look at. I won't dive into it because who cares at this point? No one gives a crap anyways. We actually got 2 to overdue, and then and you'll see the reason they do 2 bills is if one, so you have House bill and Senate bill, and obviously in Texas we have the 2 chambers. And so if one bill fails in one area, and that stops everything for that whole advancement for that entire session. So it's better to have a bill in both areas. So if one fails or gets stalled or whatever, you at least got movement on the other one. And the way Texas works is once it passes one, it has to then go over to the other one and go through and get passed. So if something fails in the House, they can then figure out what got it messed up or what screwed up, and how can we reintroduce it or change the verbiage in case someone didn't like it and you're learning more about it. So then over on the Senate side, they can update, change that bill around to where it'll actually have a better chance of going through. So you'll see a lot of times that happening. But so we were up to 4. Okay, so we've only got it looks like I'm just scanning real quickly 4 items. So we've only got 4 this go around. And again, the time to do this ended last Friday. So this time around, we only have 4 bills that we have to worry about. So the one that's going to be heard on Wednesday, the first, I think it's the first reading, we'll be talking about it in the judiciary, is again Wednesday morning down there, in my case where I live, it'll be down there. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of read through it, and we're going to do this all together for anyone that watches, cares, or whatever else. And I'm going to probably point out a few things, I'm sure. But it's an act relating to the court order. Hard to hear with the feedback. Thank you, Keith. I wonder why I have feedback. I should not have any feedback at all.
Thank you, Keith. I wonder why.
Let's see here. I got that microphone. Let me turn that down and see if that doesn't do it. Unfortunately, the streaming thing that I'm using is not working there. We'll see. Yeah, I probably shouldn't even use it. Let's see if that does anything. Let me actually, again, I'm making this as silly as possible. So let me see what we got here. I'm just going to see if my voice is coming through. And it figures it would be something like that. Let's see. Let's. Okay. If, my voice is coming through. Okay, so it sounds better there. So yeah, it looks like it had a dual mic. Thank you, Keith, for doing that. You're looping behind. Okay, yeah. All right, so I've turned one down, one off, so we should be good across the board. Thank you for pointing that out, Keith. So anyway, so the retroactive child support is an act relating to the court order for retroactive child support, including for retroactive child support, beginning on the date of the child's conception. And again, just a quick summary, because it sounds like we got looping and all that crap going on. Texas has introduced now 4 bills for this session in Texas for retroactive child support. Reader's Digest condensed version is what they will do is tell you if a woman gets pregnant, and they will do a child support order retroactively back to the date of conception. So when you get your child support order, you'll get a big fat number of some amount, and then you'll have your normal child support order. And again, I don't have, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have an issue with people should be responsible for their children, but it's just some of the things I'm assuming will be in here that we need to worry about. But yeah, it's going to be bad. Anyway, we've got 4 bills. I talked about this and went nuts 2 years ago. I don't know how many shows with better audio, and then all kinds of other stuff, trying to make this. Let me shrink this down here, because actually on my screen it looks better. Yeah, it's not letting me. These are all the fun things that you don't find. There we go. We'll keep it at that. It'll be probably hard to read. And again, this was an impromptu. I should have put more thought behind it, but it's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, okay, so being enacted, the legislature state of Texas, Section 1, family code. I'm going to kind of skip over some of this because it's all just not legal nonsense. Presumption created under yada, yada, yada. Okay, near should no longer was the father of the child if the support is sought to avoid the establishment of a support obligation to the child. And they're basically getting the whole process started. So starting in Section G, this is the new stuff that they've added in for to amend the Texas code. Subject to Section C and D. It is presumed to be reasonable and in the best interest of the child. Now, there's that fun word they always use, for a court to order retroactive child support for the child beginning on the earliest possible date of the child's conception, as determined by one, a physician using standard medical practice, as defined by Sections 171-201, Health and Safety Code, or here we go. The preponderance of other evidence presented to the court, including the testimony of a parent of the child. Okay, this is what I assumed was going into it. So one of my largest arguments last time, and again, it was one of 7 people, and actually there was even some division in there. But what I presented to the group here was that the way it worked is a woman can name any man she wants to, and that person will get nailed for retroactive child support. And the bills that we had last go around, pretty much they said that it was basically adjudicated if the court says it, and we all know how the courts work. But there was not there wasn't a demand for a paternity test. There wasn't, and I think they amended that later on because that they did see that. But this one here, let's just pick on this one. They're saying a preponderance of other evidence presented to the court, including the testimony of a parent of the child. So a parent, let's just go ahead and say the mother, the woman of the child, walks in and says, "Your Honor, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, whoever." I'm thinking of rich people here that are in the public square. That's the baby daddy. If you look at line 21, section 2, a preponderance of other evidence presented to the court, including the testimony of a parent of the child. The mom can say, "That's the baby daddy." And the court will go, based on this is not me inferring, this is what it's saying here, that they will then say, "You are the dad," even if you're not. It's not a requirement for a DNA test, none of that stuff. You are then now on the hook for retroactive child support. And I'll talk about that, what that really means, because even though it says certain things in here, if you walk through the process, you'll know just how screwed you are. But anyway, it goes on line 23. On a proper showing, the court may order the obligor to pay as additional retroactive child support an equitable, there's that fancy word again, an equitable portion of all prenatal and postnatal healthcare. Okay, this is going just like I thought it would. And postnatal healthcare expenses of the mother and the child. 3, the court shall confirm the amount of retroactive child support and render a cumulatory, oh my God, money judgment. I haven't read this until now, for the total amount of retroactive child support owed. Okay, guys, bend over. This is where we're at here. Actually, no, I just want to make sure court runs in order on this chapter, establishing a man's paternity of the child or establishing a child support obligation of a man. His paternity has been established by the execution of a. Oh, God. So here's. Oh, God, this is not even a DNA. They're not doing a DNA test. Basically, if they dupe you in some way to say you're the daddy, and we all know how the emotional thing is, you got your little girl there crying and whatever else, and the guy's like, okay, I'll be the daddy because I'm a white knight. There you go. You're nailed. That's one way of doing it. Then you have, of course, earlier you have the parent saying it. But anyway, execution of a valid acknowledgement of paternity in regard to the child under subchapter D, which is why when you're in the hospital, they want you to sign that. And actually, you should probably check those out because those get interesting. The court shall, on the request of a party and on a proper showing, order retroactive child support to provide. Oh my God! Hold on a second. I need to read something because this is going to be even worse. Or retroactive child support is provided by. Okay, took that all out. Family court. Oh, okay. So let me break this down for you for the non-thinking people in the world. Hopefully, anyone that knows anything about this stuff is shitting their pants right now. And that would be me included, even though I've been fixed for like 15, 20 years, because it doesn't matter. So it says here quite clearly that baby mama says you're the daddy, then you're the daddy. And the courts do what they do. Now, the part that should really, I say the part that should scare you. There's so many parts that should scare you. Where it says here of all prenatal and, yeah. Oh, if you sign, Keith, if you sign that thing, you are stupid, screwed. It goes on and on. You are completely screwed. You better, they will fight you tooth and nail to require DNA tests at birth, and it logically makes sense to have a DNA test at birth. And I'm all for it. If you created the child, you're the actual father. You have a responsibility to that child, and I hope whoever's going to misconstrue all the things I'm saying, they at least include that part in there, because I think that parents, fathers, and mothers should take care of their children financially, emotionally, more all that stuff in there. But this one is going to screw dads, or I'm sorry, not even dads. It's going to screw men, because you don't even need to be the dad. It's already stated up there that if a judge says you're the daddy, and you get nailed for this. Now, I keep wanting to get back to this part because people don't know just how bad this is. Where it says of all prenatal and postnatal healthcare expenses. Personal story, and then relating it back here. My ex-wife had taken me back to court 8 years. My youngest son was about 8 years old, and basically was talking about prenatal health care issues. She had postpartum depression and stuff like that. Now, with postnatal health care, and again, it's generalized there. That is, there's no end date. It's postnatal. It's after it's all said and done. So they get a doctor to write whatever, and the health care issues goes and needs this, needs that. You're on the hook for ever. If they can get some judge to say, oh yeah, you've got this postnatal healthcare need of like getting medications or sitting on your dead ass and doing nothing for the rest of your life, that's within the realm of that. They should be the Indiana law where it screwed up in the minds of who made it is they were very specific. They said you had to buy little wagons, scooters, diapers, that those were the expenses, and they were very specific about it. Well, what they went back to do was to make it just like this, because they were like, we left a lot of money on the table by just doing it with the very specific items. Postnatal healthcare expenses are what? Anything. It doesn't matter. So you will be on the hook forever. There's no there is you can believe that there's going to be no end date, no end amount or end date. Now, and it gets worse. The court shall confirm the amount of retroactive child support and render a cumulative money judgment for the total amount of retroactive child support owed. Now, here's what happens. So you get named, and again, you don't even have to get served, notified, whatever. They just the mommy goes in and says, Keith, you're the guy. you're him. And they do their thing, and your stuff gets lost in the mail, whatever, and you're on the hook because in Texas you have 2 years to dispute paternity. Otherwise, you are on the hook. I believe it's 2 years. Don't quote me on it, but it's 2 years. And after that, you're presumed to be the father, and no matter what you do, really, you're screwed. And I can give you can go to the Pissed Off Parent website, and there's oodles of examples where people have gotten screwed just like that. So this happens. So you go in, you're going to get a lump sum amount owed to you. And I'm surprised it doesn't have, they'll probably amend it to have the 6% per annum put in there like they did one of the bills in the last session. But what's going to happen is you're going in and they're going to say, okay, you owe 9 months of child support at, let's say, $1,000 a month. That's not unreasonable. I mean, I guess the average one in Texas, I think it's $500 to $600, but let's just say it's thousands. I like round numbers, and I'm not smart enough to figure out the math on it. So you walk in, and they're like, "Okay, Mr. Jones, you owe us $9,000." And I'm going to say right now, they're going to amend this thing to include interest. And actually, the child support office, they have interest on delinquent child support, so you're already $9,000 in the hole. And then they're going to nail you with $1,000 a month for the next 18 years. And of course, we're not talking about custody or anything else. So you're already in the hole. And what happens when you can't pay that? They throw your ass in jail in a heartbeat. Guys are screwed. They are absolutely screwed on just this bill. I haven't even looked at the other three. Yeah, it's a little 4 bills, other 3 bills. It looks like you're in Fort Worth. Okay, as am I. About this crap. Good luck. I hope you can make some change if you're in Fort Worth. So you're familiar with Tarrant County. A lot of fun stuff in Tarrant County. Good luck on how that works. This is kind of what we're dealing with at this point. All over the state of Texas. But in looking at this is bad. And I would say I don't care. I mean, I don't care because again, 2 years ago, when we had 5 bills, I made all kinds of. I did all kinds of stuff trying to get people in gear to fight this thing because again, these legislators, they don't care about us. They never have. They never will. And some of the names that are on there, a lot of the people in the equal shared parenting movement kissed their ass and thought they were cool and thought they were going to be their buddies, and then they got screwed over by them, which I think is hilarious. I mean, they're all pretty much scum. But anyway, whole different fun slam there. But this is going to be bad if this is the bill that makes their now again. It made it to the one of the 5 bills made it to the final reading, and they were locking everything down to have it to get voted on. And Dutton actually came up and introduced it was a beautiful moment, but introduced something that basically screwed the entire bill because actually Leach and partnered with Dutton. Again, Leach is a Republican in name only, and Dutton is a Democrat. And so it was supposed to be a whatever, and he came in last second, scuttled the thing. And Leach was not too happy, which made my day. And anyway, they're back. And yeah, Hughes, another one that famous for this crap. But again, all they care about, and this should not be anything new or surprising or whatever, but the Title 4D funding, the reliance on that to make the budget. We can go through all that over and over and over. But at the end of the day, I'm reading some comments here. 230. Yep. Actually, I believe that's the one my divorce went through. I think it was 233. Again, it's been so long for me. I've been out of the system and all that. I forget all this stuff, and I'm getting old. If you can't tell from the gray hair, but this is going to pass. I mean, if Texas men and women, because again, the women are all like, well, what happens is that they start dating a guy that has another baby mama. Well, that daddy's broke and can't spend money on her. So then that's when they start getting all excited about it. But I mean, this should, if women wanted to be fair, equitable, and all that stuff, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But here we are. But our legislators, all they're interested in is the Title 40 funds, the cottage industry, their lawyers, all that other crapola. But this is what they're doing. Out of all the issues that we have in Texas, property taxes, everything else, this is what they're concentrating on. We got four bills this go around, talking about retroactive child support. They want that Title 40 money. They want to do this to enslave men and to break our backs. I mean, that's that. There's no other way to look at this. And again, you can not believe me. You can think I'm crazy, whatever. If you go to Pissed Off Parent, or you can do it on your own. I don't care. But you can see the video that is out there when Leach was presenting the retroactive child support bill from last session, and Dutton Skelded. It was ready to go. I mean, it was going to get passed into law. And then I think it was October is when it would go into effect. Another thing, oh shit, I missed a big one here. Everything I'm seeing here is okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I may be wrong. Okay. All right. So, all right. This is the only this is the only silver lining. It appears that this only impacts going forward. So people like myself, or the ones that do oh my God, so and so got me, knocked me up back in 2005 or something. They won't be able to come and retroactively. That'll probably be next year or next session. They won't be able to do that for the folks that have already done it. Now, what we have to understand is technically, again, probably the chances are 0.0000001%, but it's never zero, that a woman could say, I impregnated her, and I would then have to spend thousands of money that I would not ever see again to defend myself if I was notified. That's the other thing. If I may not be notified of the court proceedings or whatever. I mean, and as you saw from the language, it is SB 942. And if you read the actual language there, it's testimony of a parent, either the father or the mother, and it's going to be the mother 99.9999% of the time. So this could impact me. I mean, I have two boys. This could impact them. Okay, I think it was October. Yeah, I think it's well. Actually, it'll say here. Hold on, let me. Oh, it takes place September 1st. So September is the cutoff. So September 1 is when all the new laws take place, depending on how Abbott signs, or if he signs it, how he signs it, and all that stuff. Because sometimes stuff gets moved to the first of the year and whatever else, depending. But the thing that you have to really get at here is that any man in Texas can be named the father. And if it goes through the courts, we know how honest they are. We have such transparency in our judicial system here in Texas. And again, I'm picking on Texas, but name the state. But Keith, you mentioned a few folks are edging to include funding for paternity. I had put in my testimony that I gave last time around, and I don't want to say that they did it as a result of my testimony, but somehow they put some. It was adjudication, and they were talking about. I think they were talking about paternity tests. Again, it was 2 years ago, but what I saw from the bills originally and everything else I've seen, they will not put in paternity tests. I believe that every birth in the United States should have a paternity test, and here's why. Well, there are a number of reasons, but what happens if the child is not the biological child of the father and has a medical issue? I mean, there's other reasons, but this is the one that's so basic and obvious that you can't. You should do it anyway. But so if my children aren't my biological children, and I have in the biological father say, and well, I'm giving an example. They had a heart condition. the biological father, they have a family history of heart conditions that if it's found early, it can be corrected and fixed. Well, me, I don't have any heart issues or whatever, and I'm fine. This kid grows up thinking, my family history, I'm healthy as a horse, blah, 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 blah. And then at 30 years old, kicks over. And that actually did happen. I can't remember the year that the kid was, but if that kid would have said, hey, this is the actual parent, the biological parent, for medical purposes alone, they should be tied into that, not just whoever signs the paperwork or whatever. Also, is that kids are issued Social Security numbers and all these other pieces tied to it. We have the knowledge. And I reported on this years ago. The paternity doctor had done the research, and I followed and confirmed it, that within, I think it's 6 or 7 weeks of the woman being pregnant, you can actually do a DNA test, and it is virtually no impact to the mother or the baby. They are able to do paternity tests at 6 or I'll say 7 weeks, just so no one tries to flame me up and tell me that I'm wrong. I'll say 7 weeks. I think it's 6, but let's just say 7. But at 7 weeks, they can go ahead and do the DNA test and confirm that child is is who the parents are. But then there are so many other reasons. Of course, they don't want to do that because they don't want to inconvenience mom, even though we know that with 30 some odd percent, I think it's going up actually, of children are not biologically, and that's the United States. Other countries are even worse. But we have that information, but they refuse to do that because they they don't want to hurt the mommy, because, well, they're actually, I say it that way. That's their money train. I mean, the women are their money train. And it surprised me that women are actually okay being used that way, but different topic, different show, who knows? But, and I'm kind of like rescanning the thing, because I'm hoping out of whoever's watching or whoever may watch this, specifically in Texas, that they go, holy shit, they need to get a hold of their, senators, whoever they can, and start rallying around this thing and say, no, these bills need to be killed immediately, or at the very least, there needs to be the requirement of DNA, because as I've said a number of times, if you create the child, you should pay for the child. That's just the way it is. You know what? There's a million different ways to have contraception. Abstinence one. There's a million other ways to do it. And if you're going to go in raw and have a kid, there you go. I mean, it's on you at this point. I got no sympathy for you. I mean, personally, I would say, you know what? Get married, build your empire together, have your kids, love them, grow old, with your spouse and all that. But this is where we're at today in 2025. But based on their reluctance to put in a DNA requirement and push back if you ask or demand one get written in there, that tells you everything you know about what these people are, where their allegiances lie. And again, they don't care. They just want to get that Title 4D money and everything else. Don't be fooled by anything else. Like that 4 bills to do this. They know the money in there, the amount of money they're going to get. So that they're good with it. And I hope I'm wrong. I got to tell you, I mean, I'm a betting man. Last time, third reading, Dutton killed it at the 11th hour. I mean, it was done. And Dutton got it killed. He's not working with Dutton. He's not working with anybody. They have got a central focus to do this. And there it is. I would trying to think of anything else that I have here to talk about. I can't think of anything else, to be honest. I just jumped on here once. I got on the Pissed Off Parent page. I get information on different bills across the country and all sort of stuff, and I saw that pop up, and of course, it sparked an interest in me. If you also want to be informed of different happenings on that, I would go to the Pissed Off Parent page, check out the RSS feed. It basically pulls in data like this that impacts parents, mostly fathers, on these different things. So at least be aware. If you're in Texas, get ready. I would hope that you will that you're going to start telling all your friends about it and tell them to get in touch with. I think is what Hughes. Yeah, Hughes is the one that made this bill. I will say that more than likely, you calling him or whatever and voicing his pleasure, he could give 2 shits less. You can go and register on the Texas Legislature Online site for the bill. You can register your comments. I'll be doing that probably tonight or tomorrow. It'll probably be one person doing it out of the 29 million Texans, just like last time. I'm sorry. We'll say 10. I'll be kind because I'm sure someone will be upset and say they did it too. Out of the 10 out of the 29 million Texans went and tried to fight against this bill and do something. You don't have to drive down there. It'd be great if you did, but you can go online and register, type your name, your email address in, and then you have, I think, 500 words to say what you got to say. ChatGPT is your friend. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to cut it off here because I really wasn't planning on jumping in. Obviously, I haven't done that. And Keith, thank you again for letting me know about the audio issue. I hadn't used the software of these software packages in quite a while, and I forgot how that worked. Anyway, hope everybody has a great evening, and hope you don't get nailed for retroactive child support. See ya.